Are any of you dealing with mold in your house or suspect there might be mold in your house? I'm going to share my journey with you. Okay, so we had a little bit of mold in our basement and I didn't think it was a big deal. We scrubbed it off of the baseboards. It was on the baseboards. It was in the basement. Little bit, basements tend to have a little bit more humidity, lack of airflow. That's what we figured was going on with our basement. Anyways, the reason why I looked into it and thought, okay, there was a little bit of mold on the baseboard. We'll just clean that off. And that should be fine. Well, it wasn't. So I was diagnosed with mycotoxins in my body. And now that is for a whole other video. That was testing that I did with my naturopathic doctor. And I won't get into the reasons why I got that test done. But anyways, it did show higher levels of mold within my body. Now, mold can come from places that you work in, your house, your car, multiple places. Now, he said to me, from looking at the numbers on my lab, Tina, I feel like this is an ongoing mold issue. And I thought, what? There's no way. So I had my car tested. No, it wasn't in my car. I tested various other places, had the house fully tested, and knowing that there was a little bit of mold in the basement, but that we had just scrubbed it off, thinking it was fine. Anyways, so we had the air tested in our home, and it came back as a high spore count down in the basement. Now I'll show you right here. The level was 7,340 for Aspergillus penicillin, and I was told that you want it like 200 or less. So that was quite a high count. So there you can see that was the test there that we did. So now we got to figure out why is the spore count so high down there? Like, is there something going on? So we had multiple people come through the house. One person said, and again, the spore count was just high down in the basement. It was slightly elevated upstairs, but mainly the problem was in the basement. So we had several people come through. Nobody could really pinpoint it because they said, Tina, it's not like, you know, a pipe burst behind your bathroom wall. So we don't really know where this high spore count is coming from. It's not so kind of cut and dry. So I had several people come through. One person said, we think it's your perimeter drain. We're going to have to scope the perimeter drain. Like, how much is that going to cost? $1,600. And I'm like, we don't even know if that's the problem. So anyways, after having a few people through, what we decided to do was basically, we thought, well, we saw the mold on the baseboards, so let's take the baseboards off. Now, I had somebody come in and quote that they would take the baseboards off for us, cut into the drywall, and then feel behind the wall, because we wanted to determine if it was a moisture circulatory issue within the basement suite or if it was behind the wall, possibly the perimeter drain, you know, from the floods that we had, lots of floods in the last year here where I live, what the issue was. Now, they quoted us and said, we're going to charge you $3,500 to take the baseboards off and cut into the drywall and look behind the wall. And I thought, we don't even know if that's the problem. That's really expensive. And we're not even fixing the problem if that's not the problem. So what we decided to do was we thought we can do it ourselves. So we did. Now, I'm not saying that you should do this yourself, but if you are, make sure that you have the right masks on, the gloves on, and that you're doing everything properly, because if you are somebody who is affected by inhaling mold spores, it could make your condition a lot worse. So now I'm going to show you some of the images and video of what we did, the mold that was on the baseboards, and on the other side when we took them off. So here's a little snippet at what some of the pictures that we had in the basement and some of the video. got in there and we felt behind the drywall, it was dry. So, and I should also mention that we had a full inspection. We had the air quality testing done, but we also had a full inspection where they come in with like an infrared system to kind of see if there's moisture behind the wall. Also a water meter reader, which you guys just saw. So it's not like there was necessarily a water problem, whereas most people think mold comes from a leak, and it does, but there wasn't like a leak per se in the basement. So anyways, we did get behind the drywall there, and it was totally dry. So what we did is we took all of the baseboards off. We took some of the flooring up as well to make sure that it wasn't underneath the floor. And then we put the flooring back, we put the baseboards back. Now, what we also did to try to fix the problem down there, because a lot of basements don't have the circulation that they need, and it tends to grow, or the humidity rather tends to be a lot higher in the basement. So we put in a unit that is called the Mg&x, and it looks like this. So what the Mg&x does is it controls the humidity in your basement. So in the basement, we have like a two-way airflow system. We had to make one of those airflow systems larger to accommodate the Mg&x. And then the Mg&x, basically, you set what you want the humidity level to be in the basement, and it kicks in whenever it needs to. So, you know, the dehumidifiers that you buy at Walmart, kind of the same thing, except this is actually venting to the outside. So we've done that. So we have fixed we've replaced all of the baseboards, and we used a pine on the new baseboards because that's more mold resistance. We checked underneath the floors. We increased the fan in the bathroom because it was only running at, I believe, 30, is it CFM? I'm not sure what the unit is. So we've got that running at 110 now. We also noticed that the fan above the stove down there was not venting outside. So whenever anybody was cooking something in there, all of that humidity was just going back into the basement. So check the fan above your stove and make sure that that is venting out. So that wasn't venting out. And so we replaced everything, we installed the Mg&x, and now we're gonna have it run. So this is part one of our journey with this. Part two will be coming later when I do a retest to see if everything that we've done here has fixed the problem. And if you are watching this video later on, you'll probably see part two on my channel. If not, that is coming after I do the retest. So just to let you know, the air spore test that I did and the full like infrared and the mold testing and all of that, where they're kind of looking for mold, that was just over $2,000. Now, I have not inquired about the retest will be with the air spore, air quality, but basically a lot of people that can't necessarily pinpoint where the mold is coming from, or they suspect there might be mold, but it's not kind of clear cut, do an air quality test, because that will tell you if you have spores in the air that you're breathing in your home. And what they do is they test each room, or the rooms that you suspect there might be a mold issue, and then they also test outside. And what they do is they test the quality of air outside and compare it to the inside. And I'm not exactly sure how they determine it, but there's some sort of recipe there that they determine the spore count, what it is in your house and whether it's safe or not. Like I said, ours was 7,340 in the basement, and it should be below, I think, 200 or 300. So anyways, part two will be coming. Hopefully everything that we did so far has helped the situation down there, but I will let you guys know. If you've ever had an issue with mold in your house, or you know, have any questions for me, I always love to hear from you. So please leave a comment below, and don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my latest videos. All right, you guys have a good one. Bye-bye.